Michelle, tell me about Ryan. How's he doing? What's his status now, and how is he doing?
He had his surgery on his back. He's got some rods in his back from the spinal surgery, and he's recovering. He's mentally being very, very strong, probably more strong than I am, and he's gotten an awful lot of support. We're trying to explain to him that, you know, it's going to be a different path, but it's going to be a good path. It doesn't matter what it is, because he's still the same person. Just some things have to change, that's all.
How will his path be different?
Better than average chance that he won't play hockey again, or possibly even walk, we're not sure. But he's strong, so I wouldn't count him out.
Mm. Yeah. How did you hear about this?
We were at the neighbors, and a friend of ours who's a scout for for Okotoks, he found a tweet from Humboldt or Nipawin, I can't remember where actually, and he phoned my husband, and they were talking for a few minutes, and then Tom just said, we have to go home. So we went home right away and just waited and waited, and it was a long time to wait to hear about it, because we didn't know anything about it, and there wasn't very much coverage on it.
Do you know it was bad?
Not initially. My gut was not telling me that it was that bad, but when we finally got some information on it, then our hearts dropped. Yeah.
When did you find out, and how, that he was alive?
Actually, the assistant captain's dad called us about 2 hours after we heard, and he told us, he was in tears, he was just devastated, and he told us that he didn't know very much, but Ryan was okay, Ryan was alive. That's what we knew, and we were really grateful just to hear that, and not knowing what the road ahead was going to be like, but we were very grateful.
Wow, I can't imagine getting that call.
Yeah, every parent's nightmare. Absolutely. We didn't know how it would end, of course. We didn't know if he would stay that way. But we were grateful. Yeah.
It was that touch and go.
Yeah. He himself actually told me today that he didn't think he was going to make it. The crash was so devastating. The boys were lying on the pavement just waiting for the first responders, and he couldn't move, so he didn't know what to do. He just waited.
He knows about his teammates?
He does now, yeah. He found out through Facebook, I guess, and his billet dad, and then we told him the impact of the whole thing today. And he's probably going to go through a lot of things, like survivor's guilt, and just the absolute devastating loss of it all. The brothers, they're all brothers, and they, yeah, the last moments that he spent with them, I'm sure, are going to run through his head over and over.
Do you think he feels any sense of survivor's guilt himself?
I do think so, because he saw them. He saw the kids and the coach, and yeah, I think he's going to go through that. And he needs to know that that's okay. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel. It's normal.
How does he feel about his future?
He is optimistic about some new path. Whatever new path is, he's optimistic, I think. In the moment. He probably will have his ups and downs, but I think right now he's got a really good support system, and good friends and family and all kinds of support around him. And I think that, yeah, he'll be okay.
You must be strong.
Not all the time.
Mm-hmm. What have the doctors told you about his injury and what's happened?
We were talking to the doctor today, and he told us all very frankly that the way Ryan's spinal column was not severed, it was the vertebrae, it was the thoracic, I think, that was impacted. They had to remove it, and it had so much pressure on the nerve itself that the damage is probably too great to overcome, that he probably won't walk. But you never know. You never know. Human spirit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what do you sense amongst the parents whom you've met? It must be difficult to rationalize why this happened to your kids.
Honestly, I don't know. I think that they're a strong group, and having been hockey parents for years like we all have, you learn to roll and flow with it, but this is unimaginable. It's absolutely devastating. Our hearts are just absolutely gutted.
Do you take comfort from each other?
Mm-hmm. Very much. Even though we actually haven't really known each other, we are all of a sudden fast friends, fast comfort for each other. It's been remarkable.
What do you need now? So many Canadians want to help. They want to reach out. They feel.
We're just overwhelmed with the support and the love and everything that everybody is unbelievably given, and just even reaching out. It's amazing. I don't know. I don't know what we need. I really don't. I wish I could say. I don't know. Just time and space, I guess, and figure it out.
Do you feel incredibly lucky?
We are. We are very grateful that he's still here, that the boys that are still here are still here. And we're just absolutely beside ourselves about the other kids and coaches and the radio announcer that was on the buses and the bus driver. It's just unbelievable.
You said Darcy, the coach, was very helpful and supportive of your son.
He has been a wonderful, wonderful coach for Ryan. He followed him through his Telus Cup last year with Leduc, and he wanted that boy on his team so much that he traded for him, and he got him. It doesn't happen like that very often, especially with Alberta and Saskatchewan, I guess. But yeah, he fought for Ryan, and Ryan did remarkably well there. He found his path there, that path.
Must be hard for him to lose his coach.
I don't think that has hit him yet. I think he's still trying to figure it out. He's worried about his brothers, and I think it will hit him in the days coming, but I'm not sure how he's going to be impacted by that yet.
Michelle, does he remember anything? Can he describe to you what happened?
He remembers seeing the logging truck come towards their bus. Then he blacked out, and the next thing he knew, he was lying on the pavement. So he was thrown out of the bus. I think most of the boys were thrown out. I'm not sure. And then he said he couldn't move, so he just had to lie there and wait for the first responders. He wasn't sure what was going to happen, and he saw a lot of things out there. It was awful.
And when you first saw him and heard his voice, can you describe that to me?
Well, he phoned us on Friday night, actually, from whatever hospital it was. I can't remember now. So we talked to him. He was kind of out of it, but we heard his voice, so that meant everything to us. And then when we arrived here yesterday, and we got to see him, he was still intubated with the tube and everything, but he'd just come out of surgery because he'd been in surgery most of the day, and we finally got to see him. And when I saw him, of course your heart skips a beat, right? It's just, you don't ever want to see your child like that. And I touched his skin, and it was so still and cold, and it was hard. It was very hard. But he came out of that. He came through it, and he was groggy and funny because we were laughing at the things he was saying, and then he was himself again. We felt just an enormous amount of relief. Mm-hmm. And trying to put everything else aside at that moment, mm-hmm. just focusing on him.
How have you thought about how you're going to help your son now?
Specifically, I don't know. I think we're going to need a lot of help and advice and whatnot, but regardless, his dad and I, we've all said, his brother and sister and everything, the neighbors, our family, friends, everybody has been so incredible. Everybody is willing to help and pitch in. So we'll obviously have to modify a few things in the house, and we'll take it from there.
What's your biggest fear?
That he can keep his head on straight, that he can keep his head in a decent place and stay strong that way. I know he's strong physically. I know he's strong mentally, but nobody's strong 100% of the time that way.
Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I want to thank everybody so much for everything. It's overwhelming and remarkable. We can't say enough. Thank you.
The whole world has tuned into this
story.
They have.